Hey everybody, it's Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life. Welcome back to the ABC Scrappy Challenge. We are on to letter E, which is for ephemera. So this could be a multitude of lots of different things, and today basically I'm going to show you my plan and how I work with ephemera when it's brand new. Now, for the challenge itself, basically I just want you to go into your stash and try to create a layout that uses as much ephemera as possible, and in any way that you can that is to your comfort zone and to your own style. Now, don't throw a bunch of ephemera on just because you're trying to meet the challenge. I don't want you to do that. I want you to use it with what's in your comfort zone, but just remember you have it, because I know a lot of times we get into all the pretty paper and all the other stuff that sometimes we forget about these little pieces that we can bring into our layouts. And sometimes they really help to tell a story. So let's talk about that. Excuse the noise for a second. I should have done this beforehand. I have this pink paisley, and it is the Little Adventure, the girl collection. Now, I have the boy collection too, and I've used it before. I love it. So I'm going to show you with a brand new package of ephemera what I do. My first goal is always to try to create one layout that is basically just within this collection. I like to mix stuff. I don't have an issue with mixing stuff at all, but I do try to create at least one layout that has it. The first thing I do is, honestly, I go through it and I look to see if there's anything that I know I'm not going to use. It's not my style, it's not my thing, it's just not for me. And if there is, I put it aside. I have a little bucket that is my donation bucket, and it goes straight there because I don't want to keep it in my stuff when I'm not going to use it. And I know I'm not going to use it. And it's okay to admit when you're not going to use something. For example, I might use this, but it's a little iffy. So something kind of like that. It's really large. I don't like one-dimensional things that I can't I'd probably cut this and use either the one or the little, but not together. That's something I might put to the side. This tiny I might put to the side. So just little things, to me, I personally would not use. Here we go, this. I won't use this. Unless my kids are in some weird music thing in the next 10 days, I won't use that. So that's gonna go to the side for another day and to go into the collection. So that is what I go ahead and do first. Here's another one, although this actually reminds me of a story I could tell, so I'll keep that there. The boat, again, I probably wouldn't use that. I'll probably put that to the side. And the milestone I might use, and the hot air balloon I might use. So that's the first thing I do. So I got rid of those two things. The second thing I do is I group things into if they're alike. So for example, I'm going to put all the florals to one area. I'll put all the animals into one section, and frames would go into one section. Things that could be journaling spots will go into one section, and then kind of the miscellaneous go into a separate one. There's multiple ways to do it. If you know you can make titles out of something, that I tend to put into one section as well. So I have a nice separation of stuff. So this one has a lot of tickets. There's some titles. Oh, I got a little animal mixed in with my flowers. Stars, maybe I'll put that into a separate section, and like that. So now I've got a nice separation, so I know what I'm working with. And then I go into, is there anything within the ephemera that I know will tell a specific story? Does it remind me of anything to tell a story? Now, saying that, I told you I wouldn't use this, but it actually reminds me of a story of my own childhood about going to a place up in the interior of BC, and it was like an old, I don't know that it was mining, but it was like an old time town. And we used to go a lot when I was little. And I think there is a photo of me in a carriage just like this. So I probably would actually keep this and tell that story. So what I then do, because I don't have the photo with me right now, is I will write it down. I have a little piece of paper somewhere. I'll write it down and I will put it aside with the little note. put it in a little tiny plastic bag with that note, and I have a little section in my room that has stuff like that. So when I get to them, I can scrap that particular story when I get the photo. So that's now out of the way, so I don't forget to do that. And now I'm gonna think, okay, girls, this is very girly because it's Little Adventure, the girl style. So I probably need a photo of Nora. Now I probably have one, I'll just randomly grab one. Here's one. I've already scrapped this photo of her, but there's a photo of Nora when she turned 1. Now my idea would be, how am I going to combine things? So I would probably try to find, especially with these frames, they're not really frames I would use to actually use as frames, but as layering, I definitely could do that as layers. So I probably do something, kind of have a little play and see what I could do with layers within photo. This one I would use on top or like a side. This one's more usable. And then you find the pieces that you're like, they're okay, but maybe I don't have to have it all showing. I just want the pop of color. If you have something like that, maybe like one of these tickets, think about stuff that you can use for just pops and little bits of color versus what they actually are. That's a really good way to use up ephemera, especially if you're not sure how to use it. And then think about the white space in your photo. Could you add something there? Like, could I add a star right there? That looks really cute. That would be perfect. So you start with that. You go into your next pile and you just play and you see what works and what doesn't. And you go around. Now I love florals tucked, so I would do that. I would cut it so I could use it somewhere else. But there you can see I already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of ephemera used up, and it's perfect. And I probably would add maybe 1 or 2 more, see if I could do anything else. If this was a photo of her with books, I would definitely get the books in on there. See if I can use one of the titles, like a milestone. She turned 1, that's a pretty big milestone. So I could use that within my title somehow. Or I could do this tiny and say tiny little mess, or whatever, anything it could be. But that is how I work with ephemera. So just a few tips. Everyone works with it in different ways. They sort them in different ways. I will have a video showing you how I sort my ephemera. That will come up later on, probably the middle of next week. And my first layout should be, I will play with this. I will use some of this to create my first layout for you because I already have it out and you saw me do that. So that video will be up hopefully this weekend or also early next week. So I hope you have fun with this, this letter and this theme for the next 2 weeks, and I'll see everyone really soon. Bye.